Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's CITI program webinar. Today's topic is privacy and ethical considerations for connected and automated vehicles, and it is presented by Chelsey Colbert. Now, let me tell you about today's presenter. Chelsey Colbert is Policy Counsel at the Future of Privacy Forum. Chelsey leads FPF's portfolio on mobility and location data, which includes connected and automated vehicles, ride-sharing, micromobility, drones, delivery robots, and mobility data sharing.
And for today's presentation, we have some learning objectives here. First, we're going to understand the basics of the terms connected car and automated car. We'll understand the basics of privacy, data protection, and ethics. And finally, understand some of the privacy and ethical considerations raised by connected and automated vehicles, which will sometimes for short refer to these as CAVs. And also how the US regulates CAVs. So this presentation does take a slightly US-centric perspective, so keep that in mind. This image is from a Government Accountability Office report from July 2017 called Vehicle Data Privacy. This image shows how automakers use third parties to provide connectivity, and they typically contract with third parties to provide support for the services offered in the connected car. These parties include telecommunication companies, telematics service providers, and content providers. The goal is to provide direct and real-time safety communication between the vehicle to road users or to infrastructure. And there are generally two main ways to achieve this. The first is through dedicated short-range communication, or DSRC. Since 1999, the Federal Communications Commission have reserved part of the 5.9 gigahertz band of radio waves for this dedicated short-range communication between vehicles and infrastructure. However, the FCC has recently decided to split the band for other non-vehicle purposes. The second method is through cellular protocols, typically called cellular CV2X, so that's cellular vehicle to everything. And this allows the car to provide direct communications. A couple of use cases for vehicle communications are that your car could know about an approaching ambulance in advance of you seeing it. The cars could communicate with each other about pedestrians. So this slide has a screenshot of an alternative way of thinking about the levels of automation. And this is from Dr. Philip Coupin from EdgeCase Research. So this approach takes more of a driver-centric description of the capabilities of vehicles. And rather than specify the details of the technology, this approach describes the role and responsibility the driver is assigned in the overall vehicle operation. So in 2015, two researchers hacked into a 2014 Jeep's Wi-Fi hotspot and then into its cellular connection. Among other things, the hackers were able to remotely take over the car's systems, like the radio, the car wipers, and hack into the car's entertainment system to see the car's GPS coordinates. Just recently, Volkswagen reported a breach of customers' personal data through a vendor security lapse. So data security is a really big concern with connected and automated vehicles. Because modern cars are made up of hardware and software components and they're connected, their attack surface has expanded in comparison to older quote unquote dumb cars. Generally, the attack surfaces for connected and automated vehicle includes physical. So that's access through the OBD port, the onboard diagnostics port that I mentioned earlier, or through a charging port, a USB port. Second is wirelessly through Bluetooth or the mobile network. And the third way is a little bit newer, and this is more for automated vehicles that have object and other computer vision systems, and that's through sensor fooling. So through adversarial attacks, a connected and automated vehicle could be fooled into misreading a speed limit sign or misreading a stop sign. Due to the connected nature of these cars, there are also connected and automated vehicles present many opportunities, many benefits for individuals and society. We hear about this a lot, increased safety, fewer deaths and accidents on the road, increased efficiency. There are a lot of opportunities and benefits, but they do raise many privacy and ethical considerations. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of easy answers to these questions. So throughout this presentation, you would have recognized many of these bullets here, but there are a few to note which I haven't touched on yet. So first, there is a bit of uncertainty about who owns the data that's generated by the car. So when we're talking about data ownership, is the data owned by the driver of the car, by the owner of the car, the data subject, so the passenger, the pedestrian, basically who is the personal information about, or does it belong to the automaker? This is still not quite settled yet, but I would note that ownership is not the same as control over data. There are operational, whether inside of the company and the organization, or design challenges for the vehicle itself for automakers to comply with this patchwork or sectoral approach to privacy laws. It also creates challenges for how to effectively offer meaningful transparency and meaningful user control over the data. I like to always give the analogy of a website with the website's privacy policy. A lot of you are probably really familiar with, going into an app or a website and getting those consent banners, those cookie banners. Okay, so in summary, connected and automated vehicles are already on our roads. The automotive industry is undergoing really transformative change, and it's due to advancements in electrification, connectivity, and automation. In the US, the regulations concerning privacy and data protection are unsettled and evolving. The US does not currently have a federal comprehensive privacy law or a federal AV safety regulation. The approach in the US has largely been sectoral or state by state. But along with the opportunities and benefits, we've seen throughout this presentation that connected and automated vehicles raise many privacy and ethical considerations, but it does remain to be seen how connected and automated vehicles, as well as privacy, will be regulated in the United States.
I invite everyone to review our content offerings regularly, as we are continually adding new courses and webinars in various areas of research, ethics, compliance, technology, professional development, and many other areas.